Okay, so we go to soft feature solo journalist.
30.
Yeah, 30.
Alrighty, just a second. Feature.
How do I fix that? Speaker. There we go.
Alrighty.
Soft feature 30. There it is. Okay, great.
Soft feature solo journalists.
Alrighty.
No.
Project description for this entry is digging a little deeper into a guy with a quirky collection.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Simon. Yeah, what's up, Simon?
First-time Zoom callers may not know quite what to make of what's behind Scott Stoddard.
I'll say, hold on. Scott, what is your background? Is that real or is that fake? Like, are those a bunch of fish? What is that?
The answer, though, is not just something to laugh at.
I think it started with Jaws. Monday night special, Jaws. I couldn't watch the whole thing. It was so terrifying. Really scary, but also really interesting. In elementary school, I would go to the library and I would check out every single book on sharks. Call number 597 is where all the shark stuff is. I still remember that to this day.
Thus began a life.
So I asked for a rubber shark for Christmas.
With a population of rubber sharks.
Somewhere in China, there are businessmen that just know
that grew
rubber sharks are good money.
Into the world's largest.
The official Guinness record is 840, but I think I'm probably around 1,000 now.
Not just an Instagram feed. Not just a record of growing environmental awareness.
If you go back and look at the history of rubber sharks, back in the 70s, they're all really scary. Later in the 80s, early 90s, you start to see...
I mean, just incredible detail here.
A science toy.
But just as we save moments in picture frames, for Scott Stoddard, these two...
Going to Toys R Us with my dad when I was a kid.
Hold memories.
Given to me by a friend shortly before they committed suicide.
A first date.
We have that shark memory on our first date of like using our little shark squirt guns.
A wedding.
For our wedding, I had friends come through the reception line with little sharks that they handed me. Here's some rubber sharks. You know, good luck. Congratulations on your marriage.
A Christmas.
Natalie gave this to me for Christmas. Feelings of Christmas and gift giving on Christmas morning and the excitement all the kids are sharing. You know, it's kind of a silly thing, a rubber shark, but the way these things are tied up in our memories, it makes it matter somehow.
I first met Stoddard and his sharks 20 years ago. Since then, he's built a career making video games, become a ninja warrior, a husband, a father, and a stunt shopper.
Oh, well, maybe my shark collection just reflects...
Life is good, he says.
...the bounty of blessings that I have in my life.
And he's got the rubber sharks to prove it.
The project description for this entry is a love story combining online/virtual elements and eventual in-person shots.
To learn business real estate, a 20-something like Saxon Porter looks to textbooks and laptops and online classes. But a lesson in love?
I mean, I'm 28 years old. I don't have jack all knowledge about whatever love is.
That might come from someplace else.
I was born on Grandpa's farm.
From the Texas Panhandle.
He's a meme, like...
From 88 years of experience.
Like a one-of-a-kind person.
From a security guard, a coworker and Texas transplant named Richard Ledbetter.
So you work 4 12-hour graveyard shifts. Most 88-year-olds don't do that.
And from these.
And then he went out to his car, he came back in, and he had 3 binders.
You got just a little bit of poetry, Richard.
Love poems, Ledbetter wrote.
One day it just kind of started coming to me.
Sat down, opened one up, and started reading.
The mother of my girls and boys.
At first about his wife Alicia.
She's gone to realms above.
Poems he can barely read
When I wake, I still can feel her love.
because he lost Alicia to cancer.
Until she's in my arms again, sweet memory shall remain.
14 years later, Richard Ledbetter found a new muse
There's got to be a heart somewhere
at the mall.
that's beating just for me.
She sold jewelry.
So what's the first thing you thought?
He sold
when I
shoes.
Walked into work.
Wow, I thought, man, she looks kind of cute.
She had lost faith in love
Love is something I thought I would never have in my life.
because she was going through a divorce. He had not.
He says, "Oh, it's possible." I says, "I don't think so."
Richard Ledbetter and Eugenia married.
Were I to spend all my years here on Earth in search of a woman like you,
Saxon Porter wanted people to read Richard's
You
poems.
are my inspiration. You lift me up, you fill my cup.
or like inspire people, whatever it was.
Shall I compare you to a rose?
And he wanted to help his friend.
In the love I feel.
His YouTube channel blew up the second we put it up. You know, the GoFundMe supports the medical bills and them finding a new place right now.
So he published a book.
The book blew up once we posted it to Reddit.
I was amazed. I didn't know.
You know, people need to know that there is love in the world. It's not so scary. And then one day we went for a walk through the mall.
Despite divorce, despite the death of a partner, despite age, love endures.
He's always confident whenever we talk about it. He's like, oh, you know, if you're looking for love, you'll find it.
Without love, there would be nothing to live for. So, love is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
That's something you don't necessarily learn online or from books.
Let's knit our hearts together.
Well, maybe from books.
Let's let our lives entwine. I'll be your sweetheart every day, and darling, you'll be mine. I want to love people. I don't want to hate. I want to love people.
No words can tell how beautiful love can be. I love you, sweetie. You got alligator tears? Yeah.
News.
The project description for this entry is just months after having a portion of his brain removed, a Colorado teenager has done the unimaginable, winning the state's chess championship.
Where everyone likes to go fast. The game of blitz chess
Okay, I'll play E5 right now.
fits right in.
What about this?
Griffin McConnell has just minutes to finish all of his moves.
Take the pawn.
His younger brother Sullivan
Let's put that guy already back here.
proving to be a difficult opponent.
That was so good.
But this fight is nothing compared to the battle Griffin has already overcome.
My mom had suspicion that something was wrong because I was staring off in space a lot.
At the age of just 5, Griffin was diagnosed with epilepsy, constant seizures becoming a regular part of life.
I just stopped learning because of how big my seizures were.
It was bad.
His father, Kevin, says they decided to move forward with a hemispherectomy, disconnecting one half of the brain from the other.
Everything had already transferred into the other hemisphere, which happens in children. That doesn't happen in adults.
Through it all, Griffin never stopped playing chess,
And I will win your king.
often beating so-called masters
Good game.
on the 16th Street Mall.
It was a disaster all the way around. It was a disaster. It was a hurricane.
But last year, the seizures returned with a vengeance.
It was not like one and done. I had like 3 in a day.
Doctors deciding another brain surgery was the only option.
It was a little bit more dangerous. Every brain surgery becomes more dangerous. Every time they open up his head, it's a lot more dangerous, and that was a concern.
His father says there were concerns Griffin would lose speech, memory, and worst of all, the ability to play the game he loves. But the surgery went well. So well that in September, just 7 months after the surgery, 17-year-old Griffin announced plans to enter the State Blitz Championship.
Well, my reaction was, you know, that's fine, but, you know, temper your expectations, which He definitely did not have any anticipation of winning.
But there he was in the quarterfinals, beating one of the top players in the state.
Someone he'd never beaten and beat them.
Same thing in the semifinal, setting up a championship between Griffin and, you guessed it, his brother Sullivan.
And so I just somehow won.
He's good at blitz, but he was by no means expected to win. So it was huge.
If you look at a CT scan, you'll notice half of Griffin's brain is gone, but the pawns, rooks, and kings don't care.
Even though my disability, and I don't have half a brain, literally, I can still do this.
Showing others that anything is possible.
Your disability does not define who you are. You define who you are.
Anything's possible. Like if you work at it like enough, and you have like that mindset of I'm gonna do it, you're going to. Like no matter what the disability is.
Hey, but before you play, do you have any other apps open? I kept hearing something download in the middle of it, and my apps are all closed except my Google Sheet and my Zoom.
Yeah, I was confused if that's the story or
because if that was in the guy's track,
I think that was me.
Okay.
I didn't have anything. I didn't hear anything like that.
So the project description for this entry is some states possess few avenues for students with disabilities who want to attend college. We found a program in its infancy trying to show what's possible.
So I look at this.
In these moments,
all right. Are you surprised you're wearing the mic right now?
Is history.
Yeah, this is Jennifer.
Milestones through a microphone.
She helps me with my anxiety.
We'll talk about each box.
There are 6 members of a new program at Grand Canyon University in Phoenix.
During the Lopes Academy.
On this day, Emma, Alexa, Lindsay, Michaela, Jaden, and Vicky will all volunteer to wear a microphone.
Oh, I forgot the things in my pocket. Okay.
For this story you're watching now.
Raise your hand.
Is that a big deal?
That's a huge deal.
Allison Kalenko
doesn't have to be here.
Runs the Lopes Academy. It's the newest post-high school program tailored to those with intellectual or developmental disabilities.
Good point.
Some here deal with anxiety. Others have autism.
Roll.
Wearing a microphone.
This is my first time being mic'd.
Opening up to a stranger.
How does it feel?
Being comfortable.
Is huge. We're here all day.
You know.
Milestones and breakthroughs occur every hour. Like snapping to cheer each other on.
Revisit our vision boards.
Or constructing a vision board of careers and lives in 3 dimensions.
So it's my family.
Jaden Lowry wears the mic.
Why do you want to be a cook?
Because I like food and I like to cook, and Mom did everything for get me here, so I'm gonna maybe cook for her when it's like Mother's Day. Everybody wanted to be great, be better. It's kind of cool.
The Lopes Academy is just 3 months old. The plan is for participants to receive internships and eventually jobs through the school. That's rare, but so is the program. What typically happens after they graduate high school?
Let me think about this one. I think there's definitely room for growth.
The group Think College shows more than 300 programs for those with disabilities, but they're mostly clustered in a handful of states. Lopes Academy is one of 3 in the 100,000 square miles of Arizona. There's no standard for these programs, no mandate for schools to include them.
I'm good.
Even the Lopes Academy began largely off of one donation by the parents of a current participant.
When I was in school, I had a lot of
That's Emma Cardin.
people was not very nice to me. So I was a little scared about it.
But at 12 noon, Emma is one of 3 classmates, along with 3 GCU students who act as buddies.
How was it?
Who decide on their own to dine with each other.
I like to people watch at lunch.
Why is that?
It's just fun to see what they're going and what they do. Let me know what you think about your chips and your hot.
To want to learn more about another human being is really just what life is all about.
Thank you.
It's another breakthrough. So is not just wearing the microphone, but defining their dreams when they do.
Get them jobs so they have money. They help my mom pay for groceries.
Pay for groceries, and I live in my own apartment.
If I had future had kids, I'd be a good dad and teach them how to cook.
We are going to practice writing goals.
The 6 members of this inaugural class are not students. They didn't apply for university admission. They're not studying towards a degree.
This was a great day.
But on this day,
It was fun eating lunch today.
the final 2 put on the mic for the closing prayer.
Come on, think.
With the knowledge after 3 short months
Dear God, thank you for this day.
of the history they're making.
1, 2, 3,
Lobes up.
In Phoenix, I'm Matt Pearl.
Yay! Good weekend.
The project description for this entry is on 1 acre in western North Carolina. A group wants to change the narrative about who has access to owned farmland.
To run a farm is to peer a farm. It is to plant seeds and wait months, to cultivate land for growth and a legacy for generations. It is to dream for miles, even if you only run an acre. On a small plot in Hendersonville, North Carolina,
Para llevármela.
Delia Jovel and fellow immigrants from El Salvador and Mexico pick strawberries and pack corn. It's their food to keep and sell on a space they call tierra fértil, or fertile land.
With no experience, with no equipment, it was a big risk, but we are a little bit passionate. We are not a little bit, we are really passionate about this. Trust is so important to feel comfortable in a country that is not yours.
Among farm workers in the United States, the Hispanic community makes up 77%. Among farm owners, they make up 3%. Almost everyone else,
the community here is invisible.
Looks more like Ed Graves. He runs a farm in Hendersonville with his partner, KP Whaley.
If you are an immigrant in this country, you do not have the money or the access to people or resources to buy a bunch of land.
A recent Senate study found the fastest Hispanic growth in America in rural areas. Since 2010, the Hispanic community in North Carolina has grown 27%. In neighboring Tennessee, 34%. It's grown 50% in Montana, 66% in South Dakota, and 129% in North Dakota. No matter what the state, the community is growing, but ownership of land, especially on farms, remains elusive.
Because you don't have time to say, I'm gonna try something different. The main reason why you are here is because you need a stable income. You just need a job.
Delia began Tierra Fértil in 2020. She recruited a small group to grow foods for their community. Their 1 acre
Wow, that's amazing.
was offered by Ed and KP.
That's good.
No rent, no strings, no limits.
You know, KP and I are gay farmers, like we're also marginalized in this community, so we kind of reached out because we want to band together. There's this sense for people that don't have a lot of resources in the society that land is power. And what our shared project is about building community power.
It is 1 acre on shared land.
Vender así como hice el otro día.
It does not erase the many hurdles of immigrant existence.
What is your dream?
Our dream is being able to create, I'm gonna say that, a movement.
Este sobre.
In the morning, Delia and her team will head to their day jobs, as they always do.
¿Quién es ella?
Es mi hija, Valentina.
But from 5 o'clock until sunset, they are here. The first brick on a path of hope.
It's not how much do you farm, it's why do you farm. And for us, 1 acre is enough.
In Hendersonville, North Carolina, I'm Matt Pearl.
The project description for this entry is a teacher proves her disability isn't a limitation, it's an inspiration.
Sit down. Sit down.
It's 8th period at Frankstone Middle School in Paris, Texas,
Pull up your Texas career check. See if that one works today for you.
where Kinda Felker is doing what she always
And
does.
scroll all the way down to the bottom. Okay. Then you're going to add.
Opening young minds
You ever heard of cost of living?
to see their futures
You ever heard of that? Yeah.
and getting them to see the challenges their lives might bring.
Bills. Yes. Look at all those bills.
That's an
Wow.
obvious object
Okay, I'm
lesson.
going to show y'all something. Okay, keep going.
Every day,
Keep
too.
going. Be honest. Be honest.
Multiple sclerosis hit when she was 15 years old. 12 years ago, she lost the use of her legs.
Coach, I'll be right back to get them started. I got to go down the hall.
But still, even if she has to use her electric scooter, she is always here doing what she loves.
I'll let you in, Natalie. I was gonna let you in, baby. To me, I'm just me. You know, I can do what you can do, maybe a little differently, but I can still do it. I'm just me. Good job.
But with the help and the encouragement of her husband, James,
He's amazing. I couldn't do it without him.
she decided to take on one more challenge. She explained it after school at her home in the country 15 miles away, the one with the crown and sash on the front living room table. I asked her why.
Not to be a beauty queen, I promise you. I grew up on a farm and I have never had a crown in my life. This is my first. It's fabulous, but I've never had one.
A friend asked her to compete for Ms. Wheelchair USA, an annual pageant to show the world that a wheelchair is not a limitation.
You know, just because we look different from you, we don't walk like you, you know, we still want to be able to do the things you do.
So, to send that message to her students, she was crowned Ms. Wheelchair Southwestern USA and will compete in July in Ohio for the national title. But for one other reason, too. She can only find one handicapped parking spot in all of downtown Paris. One, and a construction site portable toilet is blocking her exit. She wants to change stuff like that.
Handy-capable people want to shop and, you know, support local and eat downtown and do all that stuff too. We want to live life like everybody else.
There's nothing to stop that woman. And I don't know why I was blessed to have her in my life, but I feel blessed every day to have her. She teaches me so much.
But whether this girl from the country ends up wearing a national crown doesn't really concern her.
When kids get in trouble, I have been called a demon in a wheelchair. That's one of my favorites.
In Paris, Texas, her students don't see the chair anymore. They just see Mrs. Felker.
Thank you, sir.
So, winning another crown isn't necessarily the goal.
No. No, I've already won. You know, I've already won. I just by shining a light on a different group of people who I think are often overlooked. And so just by shining that light on them, just give them a chance and see what they can do. That's I've already won.
And so have her students, getting that life lesson from beauty pageant royalty each and every day.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
In Paris, Texas, I'm Kevin Reese.
The project description for this entry is musicians still in lockdown during a pandemic hatch plans to honor one of Dallas's most important musical icons.
At the corner of Elm and Good Latimer, Old Deep Ellum on one side is quickly giving way to the explosion of the new on the other. And where Elm passes under the freeway.
Deep Ellum has been mythologized beyond recognition.
Documentarian and author Alan Governor wants to talk about the Deep Ellum that's already gone.
This was the nexus point. This was the meeting of the black and white worlds of Dallas.
A corner of Deep Ellum long lost to the freeway, where black and white became a melting pot of musical colors on Friday and Saturday nights.
I think it's especially significant that Blind Lemon stood at the corner of Elm and Central.
Blind Lemon Jefferson, the first black blues artist to put Dallas and Deep Ellum on the map in the early 1900s. Discovered here, made famous with 80 recordings at a studio in Chicago before his untimely death in 1929, at the age of 36. A train brought his body home to Wortham, Texas, an hour south of Dallas, to be buried in an all-black cemetery.
And when I went to Wortham in 1987, I went looking for his grave and couldn't find it.
But you can find it now. An hour south of Dallas in Wortham at a cemetery that bears his name. He's at the back, next to a pasture barbed wire fence, a Texas historic landmark, where visitors leave stones and coins and guitar picks. Next to his epitaph, carved in granite, a lyric from one of his songs. Lord, it's one kind favor I'll ask of you. But why are we talking about him now? Hakeem Babatunde has played Jefferson on stage before.
You hear the blues, spirituals in those rhythms. It is the DNA from which I am. That DNA was in me and was evoked in a strange way, kind of call and response that takes place today in rap. So it's consistently revisiting us. I think that's his power.
He infused Deep Ellum with an energy that Deep Ellum today should aspire to.
So this June, if the pandemic allows, Blind Lemon will sing one more time. A new play Governor and Babatunde will produce at the Undermain Theater. This time a newcomer, Jeremy Davis, will give him voice. He's from Mejia, Blind Lemon's hometown.
Literally baffled that I didn't know anything about him being from that area. But I'm glad I know now.
You can still find evidence of Blind Lemon in Deep Ellum, a mention on the occasional historic marker, a faded banner on Canton Street with modern Dallas and its skyscrapers, rising behind the Deep Ellum treasure. And if you listen as you stand on Elm under the freeway, Alan Governor says just maybe you can still hear his voice.
And Akeen and I like to joke with people we bring over there that listen closely. You'll hear the ghosts of old Ellen and Blind Lemon Jefferson.
A voice that brought the world to Deep Ellum. A voice and a neighborhood ready to rise and sing again. In Deep Ellum, in Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
Dear precious teammates, please tell me, what was that about?
It was about 3.5 minutes too long.
Fair. So I'm not the only one. I can't figure out what it was about.
There was so much going on that I couldn't keep up. It was supposed to be about music. That I don't know. I don't know. There's so many opportunities to do with that none of them happened. I don't know. Okay.
Maybe I'm having a blockage because English is my second language, maybe.
Wow.
I went there, man. I mean,
I'm struggling to find 3.
What does that
but
mean?
Like 3, a top 3. I liked really scary. I liked really scary, but also really interesting, and Checkmate the most.
Remind me what scary was.
The
shark. There was a hiss in this dude's audio throughout, and a simple.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
I just noticed it on one shot, but also in the second, he did have like the shotgun mic set up instead of interviewing them. So I still feel like we're in some of the weird, like we don't know the pandemic rules for each person in the station.
But But the pandemic, man, it has nothing to do with good audio.
Well, if you can't mic people up.
Well, I mean, even my editor has an audio adjustment, and I know Premiere Pro has it. I mean, everybody's has it. I think even iMovie has it on your phone. Something to get rid of a cycle hum of something, whether it's 50 or 60 megahertz or kilohertz or whatever it is. It was just a little hissy. But now I'll let you know, I'm picking that out because I get a lot of hiss, so I'm picky about it. So I'm very sensitive to hiss because they won't fix my microphone. Sadness. Okay. Checkmate, I think was my favorite. I think it was my favorite because I liked the kid. The edits were it was a classic edit. Used an extreme tight shot to take me from outside on the street to inside at a competition. It was a little jarring because I haven't seen one in 15, 20 years, but it was a classic tight shot. And one thing we haven't seen a lot in this competition is extreme tight shots. So I really liked it. And it was shot, I don't know if I like the graphic use so much of the lighting on the chessboard, but it worked in the sense of it was eye gathering. And I love the story. The guy, the scary shark guy, I did enjoy it, but it felt really long to me. And I never heard from his wife. That was a big part of the story, right? Maybe she was at work. I don't know, but it was a feature, so it's not like he had to do it that day, I would think.
The editing was pretty awesome, though, especially at the beginning.
It was, it grabbed me. So it's, yeah, the same thing with Checkmate grabbed me. Was there anything else that I liked? Maybe you guys have something, but the last two stories definitely not. And I put a challenge out to Anastasia. I said, no, prove me wrong.
Where do you want me to prove you wrong? You know I can, but where are you at?
I only say that if there it is. Okay.
Oh, there was that one.
Yeah, what else do you guys have?
Leave me alone on that one. I can't. I loved the shark. I loved the shark. It was very creative. But if you are obsessed over the hissing, I am okay with moving it to number 2 and making chess number 1. I really like the chess. I liked it for creativity. I liked how, that story with so many surgeries and no surgery video and just pictures was so difficult to tell. And he did a spectacular job, I feel. I liked how he lit it. I liked the falling chess pieces because that really illuminated like the struggle and the sickness, like, chess falling on the board. I just liked all of it. I really liked how he told it. It was very effective to me. So those are my top 2. I can't with Matt Pearl. I don't understand what I'm missing.
Cody?
Huh? Cody, please.
Oh, yeah. My 2 were, number 1 was Shark and number 2 is Checkmate, but I can go either or on those as well.
I feel like I'd put the shark number 1, but I'm not.
Well, I'm the only one who really likes Checkmate as number 1. So with that said,
That's not true. I do.
Do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Mm-hmm.
To me, and I don't know if I'm just bringing it up because it stuck out to me. And I think it might be Milestones to a Microphone. Was that the one with the kids who he was talking to about having the microphone? Yeah, telling a story about a story. Yeah, telling a story about telling a story is tough. Where he introduced the kids and that he was miking them and all that. I like the story, but my question is if it's an honorable mention possibility, and that is it was edited very nicely. I thought the kids were great. The reason I don't think it's better than an honorable mention is I needed to hear more from the kids. Granted, they might have been so shocked that they couldn't talk much. I get that, but I still wanted to hear them more. And they did talk. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I think it's great talking about, without saying, whatever the stigma phrase is now, getting, and these kids are trying to get out of their barriers. I thought it was a great way to show that it was happening, that people were trying to work through their stuff.
I wrote it was clean. Like that, I don't know what to. I just didn't. The editorial decision to tell the story that way just didn't work for me, but it was edited cleanly, I think.
You're talking about Miles through a microphone for a third?
I was saying honorable mention because some of the storytelling techniques weren't on par with where they should be. So I was thinking first, second, and honorable mention.
I think that's a little tough. Just if we're gonna do a third, I feel like it should be third.
I don't know.
I don't know if it, I don't think it was great enough. I liked it because, like I said, I think it. If you don't like it for an honorable mention, then we can drop it. But I don't know if it's deserving of a third.
Well, how does it not be a third but be an honorable mention?
Well, because the editing is super clean throughout. The audio is clean. What I really didn't like was that I didn't hear from the kids soon enough.
Yeah, but your argument, I've seen other arguments with other categories, and you're giving thirds. So I'm just questioning your honorable mention.
Just on this particular story, I guess it was about, for me, the story was about the kids, and I didn't hear from the kids enough. That's all.
If we're saying there's a first, second, and honorable mention, we're like suggesting that something is better than this one, but not rewarding anything.
Oh, I see your point. Well, like I said, I just wanted to bring it up, and I can be talked out of it completely. I mean, and I understand your point there, and I can drop my suggestion.
Aaron, I do understand your point as well. To me, though, one of the reasons why it's not award worthy, not for Tony's reasons, like we didn't have enough from the kids. It took me, I'm still trying to figure out what the story is really about. Right? I think it's about this program for the kids where they get like in their own, kind of more comfortable in their own skin. I think it's about that, but there's like so much other stuff that's shoved into it. Like and he's an MMJ, right? So there is not like, you can't separate the storytelling from the editing. You just can't.
Right.
And so that's why I'm like, we can acknowledge the fact that it was clean on the editing part, but I don't think it's award worthy because the story does not hit me. Like a story like that with like so much sound potential and kids who are like getting comfortable in their own skin. There's such an opportunity to kind of draw you in and you're like, yeah, you want to root for them. I don't have feelings like that at all.
Yeah.
And that's on him. That's not about the kids.
That's how I feel. I feel like the anxiety wasn't proved before we just like went right into it without some sort of connection to the characters, like you're saying.
Yeah, he didn't make me care about them. So that's why, I mean, we could acknowledge his technical ability with an honorable mention, but we don't have to place him for a third because of the apparently inability to have us care about the characters.
Cody?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the editing, just looking at editing, story was okay, but as far as editing, it was a very basic edit, and I would actually compare the edit to pretty close to I've Already Won. I mean, there were some things in I've Already Won that were a little off, but as far as the editing, they were both the same style to me, just very basic. Nothing really wowed me on both of those on the editing side.
I would agree with that. And so I feel like if we're going to give one, then it almost needs to be both and we pick a third, but I'd be in favor of just having a first and second.
I can go with the first and second, what we've talked about.
Sure.
I can do it.
I can do that.
So no third?
Nope.
Okay,